Cardiologist warns, 9 morning habits secretly destroying your heart after 60. Every 34 seconds, someone in this country suffers a heart attack. By the time this video ends, dozens more families will receive life-changing news. And for many adults over the age of 60, the damage did not begin with a dramatic symptom. It began quietly during the first hour after waking up. For years, millions of seniors have believed heart disease is simply a natural part of getting older. That once you reach your 60s or 70s, high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and declining heart function become almost unavoidable. But what if I told you that some of the newest cardiovascular research suggests something completely different? What if many of the habits quietly damaging your heart are things you do every single morning without giving them a second thought? After the age of 60, your heart undergoes important changes. Your arteries gradually become stiffer. Your blood vessels lose some of their flexibility. Your body becomes more sensitive to dehydration, inflammation, and sudden changes in blood pressure. That means the first hour after waking up becomes one of the most important periods of the entire day for protecting your cardiovascular health. The encouraging news is this: some of the seniors with the healthiest hearts are not following complicated routines. They simply avoid a handful of common morning mistakes that place unnecessary stress on the heart day after day, year after year. Several long-term studies have shown that simple lifestyle habits practiced consistently can dramatically reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, heart failure, and premature death. Not because they reverse aging, but because they allow the cardiovascular system to function the way it was designed to. Today, we're counting down the 9 morning habits cardiologists wish every adult over 60 would stop immediately. I especially want you to stay until number 1 because it surprises almost everyone. Millions of people believe this habit is healthy. In reality, growing evidence suggests it may quietly increase blood pressure, inflammation, and long-term cardiovascular risk without producing any obvious symptoms at first. Before we begin, tell me your age in the comments below and let me know which of these morning habits you think you're already doing correctly. I read every comment, and your experiences help shape the future videos on this channel. Now let's begin with number 9. Number 9. Starting your day without drinking water. Most people wake up, head straight for the coffee maker, check their phone, or begin getting ready for the day without drinking a single glass of water. It seems completely harmless. After all, you were asleep all night. How dehydrated could you really be? The answer is more than most people realize. While you sleep, your body continues losing water through breathing, perspiration, and normal metabolic processes. By morning, you've gone 7 or 8 hours without replacing any of those fluids. That means your blood becomes slightly more concentrated before your feet even touch the floor. Now, in a healthy younger adult, the body usually compensates for this without much difficulty. But after the age of 60, things begin to change. Your kidneys become less efficient at conserving water. Your sense of thirst becomes weaker. Your blood vessels lose some of their flexibility, and your heart must work harder to move blood throughout your body. Even mild dehydration can temporarily increase your heart rate and blood pressure because thicker blood requires more effort to circulate. Think of it like trying to pump syrup instead of water through a garden hose. The thicker the fluid becomes, the harder the pump has to work. Your heart is that pump. Researchers have found that chronic dehydration is associated with a greater risk of high blood pressure, reduced circulation, kidney stress, and even cardiovascular events in older adults. The problem is that dehydration rarely announces itself with dramatic symptoms. Instead, it often shows up as fatigue, dizziness when standing, headaches, dry mouth, muscle cramps, or simply feeling less energetic than usual. Many seniors mistake these signs for normal aging. Sometimes they're simply thirsty. I remember a gentleman in his early 70s who came in frustrated because he felt exhausted almost every morning. He assumed his heart condition was getting worse. When we reviewed his routine, we discovered he wasn't drinking any water until nearly lunchtime. His mornings consisted of coffee, medications, and breakfast. Water didn't enter the picture until hours later. We changed one habit. Nothing else. He began drinking a large glass of water within 5 minutes of waking up each morning before having coffee or breakfast. Within a few weeks, his morning fatigue had improved noticeably. His blood pressure readings became more consistent, and he no longer experienced the lightheaded feeling that used to happen whenever he stood up too quickly. One small habit. A meaningful difference. Here's what many cardiologists recommend. Keep a glass or bottle of water beside your bed. As soon as you wake up, drink about 12 to 16 ounces before anything else. Before coffee, before breakfast, before checking your phone. Give your heart the hydration it needs after working through the entire night. The synergy tip is simple. After drinking your water, spend 5 to 10 minutes exposing yourself to natural morning sunlight. Hydration supports healthy blood volume, while sunlight helps regulate your body's internal clock, lowers stress hormones over time, and supports healthier blood pressure throughout the day. Those two simple habits together create a stronger start for your cardiovascular system than either one alone. Now let's move to number 8. This next morning habit is so common that millions of people believe they're actually helping their heart. In reality, many cardiologists recommend changing the order completely because what happens during these first few minutes after waking may influence your blood pressure for the rest of the morning. Number 8, drinking coffee before eating or drinking water. For millions of people, the day doesn't officially begin until that first cup of coffee. The smell, the warmth, the burst of energy. It's one of the most common morning rituals in the world. Coffee itself isn't the problem. In fact, numerous studies suggest that moderate coffee consumption may even offer certain cardiovascular benefits over the long term. The problem is when it's the very first thing your body receives after waking. After the age of 60, your body naturally experiences what's known as the cortisol awakening response. Within the first 30 to 45 minutes after you wake up, your stress hormone cortisol rises sharply. This is completely normal. It's your body's natural way of helping you become alert and preparing your heart, brain, and muscles for the day ahead. Now add caffeine on top of that. Caffeine stimulates the release of even more stress hormones, including adrenaline. For many older adults, that combination can temporarily raise blood pressure, increase heart rate, and place unnecessary strain on the cardiovascular system before the body has fully adjusted to being awake. Researchers have found that drinking coffee immediately after waking can produce a larger spike in blood pressure than drinking the same cup later in the morning. For someone with healthy arteries, that temporary increase may not cause noticeable problems. But after the age of 60, when arteries are naturally less flexible and high blood pressure becomes more common, those repeated morning spikes can gradually place additional stress on the heart. Many people never connect their morning symptoms to coffee. They simply notice that they feel anxious. Their heart seems to race, their hands tremble slightly, or their blood pressure readings are always highest first thing in the morning. Sometimes it isn't the coffee itself, it's the timing. I remember a retired accountant who monitored his blood pressure every morning because of hypertension. Despite taking his medication exactly as prescribed, his readings remained stubbornly high. His morning routine never changed. He woke up, walked straight into the kitchen, and drank 2 large cups of strong coffee before having any water or food. His cardiologist suggested a simple experiment. Drink water first, eat a light breakfast, wait about an hour before having coffee. Nothing else changed. Within several weeks, his average morning blood pressure had fallen noticeably, and he reported feeling calmer throughout the first half of the day. The coffee hadn't disappeared. Only the timing had changed. If you enjoy coffee, you don't necessarily need to give it up. Instead, allow your body a little time to wake naturally first. Drink water. Eat a protein-rich breakfast. Take any medications exactly as directed by your physician. Then enjoy your coffee about 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Many cardiologists believe this approach places less stress on the cardiovascular system while still allowing you to enjoy the benefits of caffeine. The synergy tip is simple. Pair your morning coffee with a protein-rich breakfast instead of pastries, donuts, or sugary cereal. Protein slows the absorption of caffeine, supports steadier blood sugar, and helps prevent the rapid energy crash that often follows a high-sugar breakfast. Together, those small adjustments can create a much smoother morning for both your heart and your metabolism. Now let's move to number 7. This next habit has become almost automatic for millions of people. Most don't even realize they're doing it. Yet growing research suggests it may quietly raise stress hormones, increase blood pressure, and affect heart health before you've even left the bedroom. Number 7, skipping your morning walk. Many people believe that protecting their heart means spending hours at the gym or pushing themselves through exhausting workouts. But after the age of 60, one of the most powerful things you can do for your heart is much simpler than that: a brisk morning walk. Your heart works differently during the first few hours after waking. Blood pressure naturally rises, stress hormones increase, and your blood becomes slightly thicker than it is later in the day. This combination is one reason cardiologists see more heart attacks during the morning hours than at any other time of day. Now here's the encouraging news. Just 20 to 30 minutes of walking soon after waking helps reverse many of these changes almost immediately. Your heart begins pumping more efficiently. Your arteries become more flexible. Blood flow improves throughout your entire body, delivering more oxygen to your heart muscle, your brain, and your legs. Researchers at the American Heart Association have repeatedly found that adults who walk regularly have lower blood pressure, healthier cholesterol levels, reduced inflammation, and a significantly lower risk of heart disease. But the benefits don't stop there. Walking also helps your muscles remove glucose from your bloodstream naturally. That means lower blood sugar, better insulin sensitivity, and less stress on your blood vessels. As we grow older, our muscles become one of the body's biggest tools for controlling blood sugar. Every step you take helps those muscles do their job. I remember a patient in his early 70s who told me he hated exercise because he thought it had to leave him exhausted to be effective. Instead of asking him to join a gym, I suggested something much simpler. Walk around the neighborhood every morning for 25 minutes at a comfortable pace. Nothing intense, just consistent. When I saw him again 3 months later, he had lost weight. His blood pressure had improved enough that his cardiologist reduced one of his medications, and he told me he looked forward to his morning walks more than anything else in his daily routine. He wasn't training for a marathon. He was simply giving his heart exactly what it needed every morning. If walking outside isn't possible because of weather or mobility problems, walking indoors, at a shopping mall, or even around your home still provides meaningful benefits. The goal isn't speed. The goal is movement. Your heart was designed to move every single day. Even a short morning walk sends a powerful signal that helps keep your arteries healthier, your circulation stronger, and your heart working the way it was designed to for years to come. Now let's move to number 6. One breakfast habit that quietly raises blood sugar, increases inflammation, and puts unnecessary strain on your heart before your day has even begun. Number 6, eating a breakfast loaded with sugar. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see in adults over the age of 60. Many people wake up and reach for orange juice, sweetened cereal, pastries, flavored yogurt, or white toast with jam because they believe these foods provide quick energy. And they do. But the problem is that the energy doesn't last. Within minutes, your blood sugar begins rising rapidly. Your pancreas responds by releasing a large amount of insulin to pull that sugar out of your bloodstream. A short time later, your blood sugar crashes. That crash leaves many people feeling tired, hungry, irritable, and looking for another sugary snack before lunchtime. But something even more concerning is happening inside your body. Every major blood sugar spike creates inflammation throughout your blood vessels. It damages the delicate lining of your arteries, increases triglycerides, lowers healthy HDL cholesterol, and forces your heart to work much harder than it should. Researchers have consistently found that diets high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars significantly increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. The danger becomes even greater after the age of 60 because your body naturally becomes less sensitive to insulin as you grow older. That means every sugary breakfast creates a much larger blood sugar spike than it would have years ago. Many people spend years avoiding eggs because they're worried about cholesterol while drinking a large glass of fruit juice every morning without realizing the sugar may be causing far more harm. I remember one woman in her late 60s who believed she was eating one of the healthiest breakfasts imaginable. Every morning she had a bowl of sweetened cereal, a glass of orange juice, and 2 slices of white toast. She couldn't understand why her fasting blood sugar kept increasing every year. We made one simple change. She replaced the cereal with oatmeal, topped with walnuts and berries on some mornings, and eggs with avocado on others. Instead of fruit juice, she began eating whole fruit. Within a few months, her blood sugar became more stable. She had more energy throughout the morning, and she stopped feeling hungry just a couple of hours after breakfast. Her next checkup showed improvements not only in her glucose levels, but also in several heart health markers. The goal isn't to eliminate carbohydrates completely. Your body still needs healthy carbohydrates. The key is choosing carbohydrates that digest slowly. Foods like oats, berries, apples, beans, lentils, vegetables, and whole grains provide fiber that slows digestion and prevents large blood sugar spikes. Adding protein from eggs, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese makes an even bigger difference. Healthy fats from avocado, olive oil, walnuts, almonds, and seeds help keep you satisfied while protecting your heart at the same time. A healthy breakfast doesn't just give you energy. It sets the stage for healthier blood sugar, healthier arteries, and a healthier heart for the rest of the day. Now let's move to number 5, a morning habit that millions of older adults believe is harmless but may actually be raising their blood pressure without them even realizing it. Number 5, drinking too much coffee before eating anything. For millions of people, the first thing they reach for every morning is a cup of coffee. There's nothing inherently wrong with coffee. In fact, moderate coffee consumption has been linked to several health benefits. The problem is not the coffee itself. It's drinking large amounts of it on a completely empty stomach. When you first wake up, your body is already producing higher levels of cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones help prepare you for the day by raising your heart rate, increasing your blood pressure, and releasing stored energy into your bloodstream. Adding several cups of strong coffee before you've eaten anything can amplify that response. Caffeine stimulates your nervous system even further, causing your heart to beat faster and your blood pressure to rise. For healthy younger adults, this temporary increase usually isn't a major concern. But after the age of 60, your arteries are naturally less flexible than they once were. Your heart has to work harder against that added pressure. If you already have high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, or heart disease, the effect can be even more noticeable. Many people describe feeling jittery, anxious, lightheaded, or experiencing heart palpitations shortly after their morning coffee. They often assume it's simply because they're getting older. In reality, their heart may be responding to the combination of caffeine and an empty stomach. I remember one gentleman who insisted he couldn't function without 2 large cups of coffee the moment he woke up. Almost every morning he experienced a racing heartbeat that lasted nearly an hour. His heart tests were reassuring, but his cardiologist suggested one simple change. Instead of drinking coffee immediately, he started by drinking a glass of water and eating a breakfast containing protein before having his first cup. Within 2 weeks, the racing heartbeat had almost completely disappeared. His blood pressure readings also became much more stable throughout the morning. That doesn't mean everyone needs to give up coffee. Far from it. Coffee can absolutely be part of a heart-healthy lifestyle. The key is moderation and timing. 1 or 2 cups are generally enough for most people. Try drinking water first to replace the fluids your body lost overnight. Eat a balanced breakfast containing protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Then enjoy your coffee afterward instead of making it the very first thing that enters your stomach. If you notice palpitations, anxiety, chest discomfort, or significant increases in blood pressure after caffeine, it's worth discussing with your healthcare provider. Sometimes simply reducing the amount or changing the timing makes a remarkable difference. Your morning routine should help your heart ease into. Number 4, checking your phone the moment you wake up. This habit has become so common that most people never question it. The alarm goes off. Before their feet even touch the floor, they're scrolling through emails, reading the news, checking social media, or catching up on messages. It may seem harmless, but your heart experiences something very different. The first few minutes after waking are when your nervous system is naturally transitioning from rest into activity. Your blood pressure is already rising. Your heart rate is increasing. Stress hormones like cortisol are climbing to prepare your body for the day ahead. When you immediately expose yourself to stressful headlines, upsetting emails, work problems, or social media arguments, your brain interprets those as threats. Within seconds, your body releases even more adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart beats faster. Your blood vessels tighten. Blood pressure climbs even higher. Researchers have found that chronic psychological stress contributes to inflammation, high blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythms, and an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. The danger isn't one stressful morning. It's repeating this pattern every single day for years. I remember one retired gentleman who couldn't understand why his blood pressure was always highest first thing in the morning. His medications hadn't changed. His diet hadn't changed. But every morning he spent the first 30 minutes reading upsetting news stories on his phone before even getting out of bed. His cardiologist suggested something surprisingly simple. Leave the phone alone for the first half hour after waking. Instead, drink a glass of water. Open the curtains. Take a short walk outside. Eat breakfast. Only then check the news. A month later, his home blood pressure readings were noticeably lower, and he told me he felt calmer throughout the rest of the day. Many people underestimate how powerfully stress affects the heart. Emotional stress is physical stress. Your heart cannot tell the difference between running from danger and reading something that makes you anxious. Both trigger the same stress response. Instead of reaching for your phone immediately, give your body time to wake up naturally. Spend a few quiet minutes stretching. Practice slow, deep breathing. Sit outside if the weather allows. Listen to calming music. Read something encouraging instead of alarming. These small changes help activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for slowing your heart rate, relaxing your blood vessels, and preparing your body for a healthier day. Protecting your heart isn't only about what you eat. Sometimes it's about what you allow into your mind during the first few minutes of every morning. Now let's move to number 3, a habit that silently raises blood pressure day after day and is far more common than most people realize. Number 3, ignoring your blood pressure in the morning. Here's something that surprises many people. Your blood pressure is usually highest during the first few hours after waking up. This is known as the morning blood pressure surge, and while it's a normal part of your body's daily rhythm, it becomes much more dangerous after the age of 60. As you wake up, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare you for the day by increasing your heart rate and raising your blood pressure. In healthy arteries, this temporary rise is usually well tolerated. But if your arteries have become narrowed or stiff from years of plaque buildup, high cholesterol, or high blood pressure, that morning surge places tremendous stress on the cardiovascular system. In fact, cardiologists have known for years that heart attacks, strokes, and sudden cardiac deaths occur most often during the early morning hours. Researchers believe this natural rise in blood pressure is one of the major reasons why. The problem is that many older adults have no idea what their blood pressure is doing at home. They only have it checked every few months during a doctor's appointment. But blood pressure changes throughout the day. Some people have perfectly normal readings at the doctor's office while experiencing dangerous spikes every morning without realizing it. I remember one gentleman who insisted his blood pressure was always under control because every clinic visit looked normal. His doctor eventually asked him to check it at home every morning for 2 weeks. The results were surprising. Almost every morning, his readings were significantly higher than they were later in the day. With that information, his doctor adjusted the timing of one of his medications instead of simply increasing the dose. Within weeks, his morning readings became much safer. The goal isn't to become obsessed with checking your blood pressure. The goal is understanding what your heart is doing when it's under the greatest stress. If you already have high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, kidney disease, or a history of stroke, your healthcare provider may recommend monitoring your blood pressure at home. Taking a reading after you've been sitting quietly for a few minutes can provide valuable information that helps guide treatment. Lifestyle habits matter just as much. Drinking water, limiting excess sodium, eating a heart-healthy diet, staying physically active, managing stress, and taking medications exactly as prescribed all help reduce those dangerous morning spikes. Your heart works harder during the first few hours after waking than many people realize. Understanding what's happening during that time could help prevent one of the most serious cardiovascular emergencies. Now let's move to number 2, a habit that silently damages your arteries day after day, even though millions of older adults continue doing it every single morning. Number 2, smoking or vaping shortly after waking up. This is one of the most damaging things you can do to your heart in the morning. Many people who smoke describe that first cigarette of the day as the most satisfying. But from your heart's perspective, it may also be the most dangerous. When you wake up, your blood pressure and heart rate are already rising naturally as your body prepares for the day. Lighting a cigarette at that moment causes another immediate surge. Within minutes, Nicotine causes your blood vessels to tighten. Your heart begins beating faster. Your blood pressure rises even higher. And the amount of oxygen reaching your heart muscle actually decreases because carbon monoxide from cigarette smoke replaces oxygen in your bloodstream. Your heart is forced to work harder while receiving less of the oxygen it needs. That's a dangerous combination. Research has consistently shown that smoking damages the lining of your arteries, promotes blood clot formation, accelerates plaque buildup, and dramatically increases the risk of heart attack and stroke. Many people believe that vaping is much safer for the heart. While vaping may expose you to fewer toxic chemicals than traditional cigarettes, nicotine itself still raises blood pressure, increases heart rate, and places significant strain on your cardiovascular system. Scientists continue to study the long-term effects of vaping, but what we already know is enough to raise serious concerns, especially for adults over the age of 60. I remember one gentleman who had smoked for more than 40 years. Every morning, before breakfast, before coffee, before even getting dressed, he would step outside for his first cigarette. He believed that was simply part of his routine. After suffering a mild heart attack, his cardiologist explained that those first few cigarettes each morning were placing enormous stress on his heart at the very time it was already under its greatest daily strain. Quitting wasn't easy. It took several attempts, support from his family, nicotine replacement therapy, and guidance from his healthcare team. But 6 months later, he told me something remarkable. He could walk farther without becoming short of breath. His blood pressure had improved. His energy had returned. And for the first time in years, he felt like his body was finally working with him instead of against him. No matter how long you've smoked, your body begins repairing itself almost immediately after quitting. Within 20 minutes, your heart rate and blood pressure begin moving toward normal. Within weeks, your circulation improves. Over time, your risk of heart disease continues to fall. It's never too late for your heart to benefit. If you smoke or vape, don't be afraid to ask your healthcare provider for help. Today's treatments are far more effective than trying to quit through willpower alone. Your heart has spent years protecting you. Giving up tobacco may be one of the greatest gifts you can give it in return. Now let's move to number 1, the morning habit that cardiologists repeatedly warn about because it silently increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, heart failure, and premature death more than almost anything else on this list. Number 1, ignoring chest discomfort because you think it's just part of getting older. This is the habit that concerns me more than any other. Not because it's the most common, but because it's the one most likely to cost someone their life. I've lost count of how many patients have told me the same thing. I didn't think it was serious. I thought it was just indigestion. I assumed it was my age. I didn't want to bother anyone. Hours later, they were sitting in an emergency room having a heart attack. The truth is that heart disease rarely begins with someone suddenly collapsing to the floor. More often, the warning signs appear gradually. A little pressure in the chest while walking, shortness of breath climbing stairs, pain spreading into the shoulder, jaw, neck, or arm, unusual fatigue that seems to come from nowhere, nausea, cold sweats, lightheadedness. These symptoms can be easy to dismiss, especially after the age of 60, when many people already deal with arthritis, acid reflux, or general aches and pains. But your heart doesn't know the difference between being ignored and being cared for. When blood flow to the heart begins decreasing because of narrowed arteries, your body often sends small warning signals long before a major heart attack occurs. Those warnings are opportunities. Ignoring them allows the damage to continue. Seeking medical attention early can prevent a life-threatening emergency. Research has consistently shown that people who seek treatment quickly after developing heart attack symptoms have significantly better survival rates and experience less permanent damage to the heart muscle. Every minute matters. The longer the heart goes without enough oxygen, the more heart muscle begins to die. I remember one woman in her 70s who woke up one morning feeling an unusual heaviness across the center of her chest. It wasn't severe. She described it as someone gently sitting on her chest. She almost stayed home because she didn't want to inconvenience her family. Instead, her daughter insisted they go to the hospital. Testing showed one of the major arteries supplying her heart was almost completely blocked. Because she came in early, doctors were able to restore blood flow before extensive damage occurred. Several months later, she had returned to gardening, walking every day, and spending time with her grandchildren. She often tells people that listening to her body probably saved her life. Heart symptoms don't always look dramatic. In women especially, they can be much more subtle. Some experience unusual fatigue, nausea, shortness of breath, dizziness, or pain in the back or jaw instead of severe chest pain. That's why it's so important never to ignore symptoms that feel unusual or different from your normal routine. Your instincts matter. If something doesn't feel right, seek medical attention immediately. It's always better to be told your heart is healthy than to wait until it's too late. Your heart works more than 100,000 times every single day. It never takes a vacation. It never asks for a day off. For more than 60 years, it has been working every second to keep you alive. The least we can do is listen when it tells us something is wrong. The 9 morning habits we discussed today may seem small on their own, but repeated day after day, year after year, they shape the future of your heart more than most people realize. Protecting your heart isn't about being perfect. It's about making better choices one morning at a time. If you found this video helpful, let me know your age in the comments below and tell me which of these 9 habits surprised you the most. I read every comment, and your experiences help shape future videos on this channel. And if you know someone over the age of 60 who would benefit from hearing this information, share this video with them today. Sometimes one small change in a morning routine can add years of healthy life. Take good care of your heart. It has been taking care of you every moment of your life.